It's Jeff.
Hey, what's going on?
So it's podcast time.
Yay!
Do you want to tell our listeners who we'll be talking to today? We got another guest.
Oh man, this is a great guest too. We are talking to Mark Hanley.
I'm excited.
Known to probably a bunch of you from his work with Rain Parade. He does keyboards, and this guy can play, I think, every instrument known to man.
And well.
Convinced.
Yeah.
And well.
Yeah.
I mean, but one of the reasons why we wanted to bring him on is because he's a fantastic songwriter, and man, can he put a good song together. So let's get started. Yes. I'm excited.
Let's do this.
Woo. Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage, Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. All right, let's add Mark to this call.
Yay.
Hello, Mark. This is Jeff and Soraya.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
Hi, folks. How you doing?
We're doing great. We're really excited to have you on our show today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, we have a little introduction that we wanted to start off with before we get into our questions. We have a few questions that we wanted to ask you. But to get started, on today's show, we're talking to Mark Hanley, who may be familiar to most as the keyboardist with Rain Parade, but he's also a multi-instrumentalist and a solo artist in his own right that we've learned about recently. Originally from Long Island, based out of Oakland, and has played with a number of bands including Rain Parade, Dino Valenti, Trail of Debris, Yak Butter, the Billy Talbot Band, Boatclub The Hellenes, and Flair, just to mention a few. Today, Soraya and I hope to talk to him more about his solo albums, Plainer and A Mark Supreme, both fabulous albums, as well as his work with other bands and artists. So let's welcome the man that Matt Pucci refers to as the best songwriter that no one knows, Mark Hanley. Welcome to the Paisley Stage, Raspberry and Rhyme.
Woo! Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for that introduction.
At first, I thought that Matt's comment was hyperbole until I actually listened to the CDs. Yeah, you're an amazing songwriter. These albums are timeless, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you so much. Matt Pucci is way too kind.
Look, when Jeff and I started listening, we would just kind of comment back, did you hear this? And are you listening to this? And we were blown away. So we're just happy to ask you a few questions and also let our listeners know about this real hidden gem that we've got in our own musical community.
That we both love, yes.
That's great to hear. Thanks again. Yeah. I want both records myself.
I would hope so. So, Mark, first of all, I need to start this off with a very long overdue apology to you. So, on our podcast, we reviewed the show at the Grammy Museum, and I was furiously taking notes and trying to note everybody that was on the stage. And I did, in my notes, write your name, and I noted that you were on stage. And then when we discussed it as a panel for our podcast, I forgot to mention your name. And I feel terrible. And I do want to thank the corrections that I received, not only from Matt Pucci, but also from Derek C. So Mark Hanley, I am totally apologetic that I did not mention your name, but you were amazing that night with the Rain Parade Orchestra and Symphony. You guys took over that stage and just rocked it. And those of us in the audience really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy that night?
Yeah, that was really a lot of fun. Kind of wished and everybody got to play a little longer than the one song we were each allotted, but it was a great time. Everybody was really nice. And I thought we sounded good. Everybody sounded pretty amazing, I thought.
You guys sounded ridiculously good. I mean, blew the roof off that sucker. It was, whew. It was so
We
simple.
did blow the roof off, didn't we?
You did. Pure volume. It was great. It was great.
So, Mark,
Yeah, I had a great time.
Mark, we've seen you with Rain Parade as recently as May 2019 when Soraya and I made a road trip from the Los Angeles area up to San Francisco to see the Rain Parade show. And we understand that you joined the current lineup in 2012. Can you share with our listeners how you came to join Rain Parade?
Well, I have been playing with Matt Pucci for quite some time now in various projects, and he approached me about if I'd be interested in playing with the reformed Rain Parade. I absolutely jumped at the chance to do that. So, yeah, I really, in the few projects I played with Matt, and we would just always get together and play music all the time. He'd dig out these old songs of his and then old Rain Parade tunes, and occasionally I'd get together with Stephen Roback. But so I just was, I was ready to go do some Rain Parade and excited about it. So that just was, it was a no-brainer. I was ready.
And then, we've shared tracks before on our podcast of Boatclub and The Hellenes. We've shared those tracks with our listeners. And one of the things that really stands out to us, at least to Jeff and I and to our listeners as well, not only is it the quality of the songs, but the synergy. I mean, there's this real energy around these lineup of musicians that play on these tracks. And, it's so palpable and noticeable. We're just curious, what makes it so easy to play, in these different groups? Boatclub, The Hellenes, Rain Parade. It just seems like it's a real easy transition between all the projects.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of clicking with certain musicians, and Matt and I we were getting together, every week we'd get together for years there, and then John Dillman also, when he eventually moved up to the Bay Area, and just writing and playing and hanging out and just getting to know each other's styles, and we just got so tight, and Stefan too, our drummer, and we would and swapping up instruments, so we would just all get pretty proficient at playing, whatever was lying around. I had a guitar shop that was kind of the hub of us, our rehearsal space too, and just getting together at least once a week for years. So we just got real tight, and that gets you quite sharp. And our songwriting skills, I thought all of our songwriting got better and better, and then we just started collaborating, writing together in various configurations, and a few other members. Tommy Carnes was also involved, from the Boatclub members, and a great songwriter also. And so it was just really, we each were inspiring each other to write more and play more, and it was really, we got really, I thought, like very tight.
Yeah, it shows.
Friendship too.
And musically, it shows in the releases as well. So, Mark, we wanted to shift a little bit away from the collaborative projects into your solo project. We're going to list off a few of the instruments that we think that you play. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Guitar, slide guitar, lap steel guitar, mandolin, piano, organ, synthesizer, and you write your own songs. Am I correct that you play all these instruments?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I play, anything guitar related, and yeah, with Rain Parade, definitely playing more keyboards. Have been playing more keyboards, but yeah, that about covers it.
How did you get started in music, and can you tell us a little bit about your influences? The music sounds very timeless to me. Can you tell us about your influences and how you got started playing?
Well, I started playing. My really first instrument was piano, and just I had an older brother who played, had a bunch of bands. He was 10 years older than me, and I was always down in the basement rehearsing with whatever band he was in at the time, and that was inspiring. Music was always being played in the house. So early on, I just got interested in singing too. I would just always kind of make up my own harmonies to Beatles, anything from the Beatles on down. It all starts with them.
Yeah.
And I got really interested in singing and, trying to find the odd harmonies. The Byrds too, and David Crosby was an inspiration to the really kind of bonkers harmonies he would come up with. And right there, those are two big influences, Beatles and Byrds, like everybody associated with the Paisley Underground. And just really was listening to a lot of assorted blues and jazz records too that really inspired me to just expand my horizons a little bit beyond pop rock and country. My dad always had country records laying around, so that was also a big influence. And I still listen to a lot of country, old country.
The good stuff.
What's your cutoff?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What's your country music cutoff? Is it like the 70s, 80s?
Well, I do like some newer country too, but I prefer the really sort of more nasally singers and rougher sounding country, and that goes for blues too and jazz. And there's no real cutoff point year-wise. I like some of the slicker country too, but really go back more to the older pre-70s country.
Mm-hmm. When someone sits down to listen to your solo albums, we hear all those musical influences in your songs, from rock to country to funk, in Slice Gets Away, there is a real funk. I kept thinking 70s funk influence, and definitely, all these mixed together. While we were doing our research, we came across your Reverb Nation page. Now, I'm assuming that you labeled yourself, and the music is labeled as rock, Americana, Rockicana. So we wanted to know, is this a fair label, or how would you characterize your musical style currently?
Ooh, I just really am not good with slapping a label on myself or anything else, and haven't visited that Reverb Nation page in a long time. I might have to update it. It's been years, but I guess that's as far as the label goes. That is as accurate as anything I can come up with. But I hate to do that. I hate to. Yeah, usually I just say rock because that's a safe, term to use to encompass everything else almost.
Yeah.
Because most of what I do, it's really rock based. I mean, I do have the few tracks that are straight out country songs. I like writing in that vein, but the majority of what I do is just rock and roll. I don't know.
I would add in roots music in my description as well. There's definitely like a roots feel in at least most of the songs to me. So Mark, we wanted to talk specifically about some of your songs. I wanted to ask you, so you play things with strings and with keys. Do you have a favorite, and what do you write on? Is it typically guitar or piano-based composing?
It really depends. There are certain songs I've written that are absolutely just straight-out piano songs. And I actually prefer overall to compose on the piano or keyboard of any sort, just to get away from the the bad habits. You pick up a guitar, I generally will just start strumming, and you fall into old habits of, certain chord progressions and certain strumming styles. And piano, it seems like every time I sit down on it, it's just, everything's just wide open, much more, chord voicings. I'll experiment more. So, and then when I just decide, well, it's time to write a country song, then I pick up the guitar.
Okay.
Or if I have a riff in my head, absolutely guitar based, nothing, only the guitar will do, to just at least compose it and get an arrangement down. But really, it's really half and half. The two solo records that I have, probably half of those songs are written on the piano, the other half guitar. Yeah.
Let's dig into those solo albums then. Matt Pucci's statement to us, that you were an incredible songwriter, but also you were the songwriter that people hadn't heard of. And one of the things that Jeff and I, in just talking about your music, you're really a storyteller. The tales that you weave are really, really intriguing, and they move around from different topics. So on Plainer, you have songs about living in the moment, like hiding the mess, and I'm quoting from the lyrics, why don't you drop the shit that you haul around? And love, like on Out of My Mind, where I love this wording. She's got a smile that goes on for years. She's got diamonds in her tears. Right. And then the rest of the song is just it's amazing.
She's got a smile that goes on for years. She's got diamonds in her tears, and she's got a voice that can melt your spine. She's got hair like twine, and don't you just love what she's got? Don't you just want what she's got? She knows the way out of my mind. Just like a flower where she hides, that's where I'm hiding too. 'Cause don't you just love this night. Don't you just got to have
And then even thoughts around the pursuit of belief and truth, like in Falun Gong. It's so true, it's all here to believe.
It's so true. It's so true. It's all here to believe. Falun Gong. Falun Gong. Falun Gong. Take it wrong. It's so true. It's so true. It's all here to believe.
I mean, you really take your listener on this journey with you of topics, of musical styles, and then round it out with this beautiful voice and beautiful harmonies. And we were wondering, what was your vision for Plainer, and how was the track selection process? Because, you know, they're all amazing tracks, and I'm wondering, okay, so what didn't get on this CD? What didn't get on this album?
Well, that's the thing. I had been amassing songs and writing for several years before that came out, and I really had a bunch of songs to choose from, but then I just kept writing new ones, especially knowing I was finishing up a record or getting ready to record a record. That was inspiring. I just started, okay, well, I'll just write a few brand new ones for the record, and you know, a couple others got bumped off, but I really had a pile of songs, and at the same time, I started writing more with, collaborating with Matt Pucci and Tommy Carnes, two members from Boatclub. So there's a few songs on there that wrote with them, and they were brand new. They had happened just as I started already recording for Plainer, recording songs, and I had some that I just recorded on 4-track in my guitar shop, and really pretty lo-fi, but I liked them. They were kind of demos, but I kept a handful of those because I just wanted a rough quality to the record too, or some of the songs to at least have that. And then I went into several different studios with these guys, Matt, Tom, and Stefan, playing amazing drums, and other musicians too from past bands. I had a couple of guys from Yak Butter, my old band, on one song, and and then it was just picking the songs that I was really liking the sound of, and just that seemed still fresh to me to put on that record. But I had another pile that didn't quite make the cut.
So does this mean that we could hear more soon? If there are some songs just sitting around?
Well, the thing is, with older songs, you get tired of them, and a lot of those that I didn't put on that record, I probably should have, because just knowing that, okay, if they don't make it on this record, I probably will never get them out. But a few made it to the next record, Mark Supreme. I held on to a few older ones that I still like, and that I had really good demos. I think I didn't use any 4-track demos for Mark Supreme. I kind of went in, re-recorded them. Felt like I was singing and playing better than these, previous these things I'd recorded years prior. So, but I do have a handful of songs that I still do like that may make an appearance on something soon.
Okay.
So
I like that.
They may be old to you, but we haven't heard them. So, Oh,
Yeah, that's the thing. And I will, when I do play for people, I'll dig out an old song and, oh, that's a great song. You should do that. And then you hear somebody complimenting you, and you listen to it fresh, and oh yeah, that isn't too bad a song. Maybe I'll do that, and file it away and get it ready to, for some future project.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, there's another song that we wanted to ask you about specifically, and that's My True Love.
Where is she that you and me can find? Is my own true love. Sweet as she, then the sweetest wine is my true love. Just a child with a sunny smile, like the sky above. Never will I roam another mile for my true love. No more other loves to taunt me, no more winding trails to haunt me. Now I've found my place in the sun with my true love. No more other loves to taunt me, no more winding trails to haunt me. I found my place in the sun with my true one. Let me be forever on while with my own true love. Never must I roam another mile for my true love. For my true love.
Do it over again. No, you don't do anything. In the summer. In the summer. In the summer. Okay, summer. In the summer. In the summer. Okay, I just want to say my thank yous. Okay, Isfoy, would you like to say thank yous to anybody?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not like that, like thank you to people.
Thank you to people.
Thank you to everybody out there. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
At the end of the song, we hear two voices saying thank yous, and one even with an Elvis imitation. Thank you very much. So, who's helping you out on that song? Who are those voices?
Who are the voices? Well, they are my girlfriend at the time. It was her daughter,
Oh,
Corey Fielden, my girlfriend Jessica, and her friend, Corey's friend, Isabel. And they were, I think, 7 or 8 at the time, and they were just too funny. The two of them together, I just actually Corey had sung harmony on another song, so I had her in the studio anyway, and then we just started recording them kind of goofing around, and I just decided to just stick that at the very end, just for kicks and grins.
I love that little, and as I was listening, and I went, wait, what song is this? What's this called? It was a nice little Easter egg. I liked it.
Yeah, they were just too cute. I had to put something. They were just going on for a while, and we had the tape running, and it was I had to use some of it.
So I want to ask about a Mark Supreme, because as you said, I didn't use a 4-track demo. The process was a little different, and it definitely feels like a different album. And yeah, we do hear the country vibe. We also hear that rock styling, pretty strongly. We hear those beautiful harmonies. And again, songs that are exploring new territory. But something that was really interesting to me, and I wanted to ask you about, is all except for 2 of the songs are under 3 minutes. Amplifier Love and Kindling are longer, 3 and 4 minutes, respectively. Was this intentional, or was it just coincidence?
I like short songs. I really, in the past, in old bands that I had been in, and I was the primary songwriter, my songs were a lot longer. They're all kind of pushing that 5-minute barrier, and then we jam for another 5 minutes. And I'd done that for a while, and then I really just started trimming my songs down more and more, and just wanting it, a more concise package for each tune, and really almost to a ridiculous short time frame. I was really whittling them down, and having friends, Matt being one of them, asking me to pad it a little bit, because my songs were clocking in a minute and a half. I was really lopping off verses. I don't need a third verse. Maybe just the chorus one time, and I really had to stop myself from whittling it down to almost nothing, and just a little piece of melody. But I just prefer that. I think that comes from listening to the Beatles and Byrds and growing up, and leave them wanting more. The song would fade out at 2.5 minutes, and I'm like, oh God. Even as a kid, I'd be like, oh God, that should be longer, and But I like that. I like that it was just get out before it becomes stale, right? Fade it out. Move on to the next song.
I am really glad I'm not the only one that had that experience, that you as a listener to other bands have had that experience, because I'm just thinking of a lot of the songs on Mark Supreme where I feel, okay, wait, the story, where does it end, and am I left to fill in the blanks, like on Why You So Cruel, Vicky. I mean, it's really this very engaging, haunting tale, and then you just cut me off. As a listener, said, wait, now what? But
I could have gone on longer. That is one of my favorite tracks. I could have gone on a few more verses about Vicky.
You left me hungering for more, and so now I understand the philosophy behind it. As a listener.
I like that. Yeah.
Right.
It makes us wanting more. That's for sure.
Oh, good.
So the first 3 tracks are really interesting because we start off with a bang right off the bat on Mark Supreme with Audio from Silent. And then you go into more introspective with Lake.
We were crossing the lake when I felt lost. It took forever just to cross it. I used to know my way. Now I'm sailing blind, still being put to the test. It's deep, but I couldn't agree less. It's only special if I share with you somehow. Once stopped on a dime. Now I have no sense.
And then, as we were talking about with Why You So Cruel, Vicky, and we really like the lyric, it's driving me insane. I thought we had a rule, Vicky. You wouldn't play no games.
Why you so cruel, Vicky? You didn't have to be. I'm feeling like a fool, Vicky, for what you did to me, for what you done. Why you so cruel, Vicky? Where did it go wrong? I'm down at the school, Vicky, listening to my song. Would you listen to me? Why you so cruel, Vicky? It's driving me insane. I thought we had a rule, Vicky. We wouldn't play no game. Why you so cruel, Vicky? I'm not that bad a guy. Don't send me that girl, Vicky. Meet on the highway. Vicky, why you cruel? When you don't have to be.
We love that lyric. Can you talk to us a little bit about the song selection process for this and how this album differs from Plainer?
Well, Plainer definitely, like I had said, I had a pile of songs kind of laying around and a lot that didn't make the record. But with the Mark Supreme, those are, for the most part, all those songs are recently written, and there are a few older ones that actually the first song on the record is a leftover from the Boatclub sessions.
Oh.
That didn't make the cut there because we had a ton of songs, and I thought it was a really good album opener. So that's where Audio from Silent comes in. So that was an older song, slightly older, not that much. So, but the rest were and a couple of others that had been laying about that didn't make the Plainer record. But for the most part, they're all recent songs that I've just been. I think there's more that I've written with Matt too. I think we stuck on a few. I can't even remember now. I'd have to look at the record, but it is. As opposed to Plainer, where a lot of those songs had been laying about for a couple of years. It was just, okay, it's time to make a record, put some of these out. Mark Supreme, I really was, in a couple, I think I'd really written, while the CD was almost done, and just, I need a couple more songs, a couple more new ones, and I cranked out a few new ones. So it was a slightly different approach.
I like how, Jeff, I'm really liking how he says, well, I cracked out a few more songs. I mean, these songs are so good. It's hard for me to think, oh, wait, I just need a few more to round it out. I don't know.
That's inspiring, though. That really, it lights a fire under your ass. It's just, I like sort of a deadline. You know, I've written a few songs on my way to the studio, book time, and or finished songs that I had maybe had the bare bones of a composition, but knowing that I should really have this song done before I get there. The guys will be there. I like that. I like that little bit of pressure. Finish it up.
Nice.
I want to just back up a little bit. So did I hear you correctly that you said Why You So Cruel, Vicky is one of your favorite songs off of that album?
I think it is. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. And it seems to be, a lot of people like that one. It's pretty catchy.
Well,
and I left that pretty raw. It really, I think we recorded that in my shop, or most of it. We did some overdubs later on, but I was tempted to really go re-record it, but I liked the rough vocal, and I think we were using kind of whatever mics were lying around, so it's a little on the rough side, but it suits that song, I think. Mm-hmm. But I like that one, yeah.
And I also wanted to follow up with one more question about Mark Supreme. The songs on this one, they're really, or at least for me as a listener, they're really introspective. Was there just a different motivation behind the writing on this album, like a different inspiration or a different theme that you were going for, or is it's just the songs that ended up there are just a little different?
I'm not sure. I think it just was, the way I go about writing is, if I have too many introspective type songs, or I'll write a couple of, obnoxious rockers, or vice versa. I like to, especially if I know I'm gearing up to finish a record, do a record, I'm like, okay, I need a couple of more ballad type songs, or I need another rocker here, or just and I like that. I like approaching songwriting that way, like just kind of an assignment. Okay, write an abrasive rock song to maybe an album opener. Oh, okay. I like sort of it's like homework. But I didn't. I didn't really. I didn't really think in any terms of making it more so introspective than plainer. I just really, the similar approach to plainer is just writing a bunch of songs and then picking my favorites, and several that didn't make the cut of that might make an appearance on my next record, which I'm just thinking about doing. And just picking my favorites at that time, of all the songs that I have laying about. Like, oh, I like that one. And actually getting people's feedback too. Oh, you really should include that song. Like Matt Kitchie would be telling me his favorite, and the other musicians that I've been working with. Oh, you should include that song. Don't leave that one off. And I take that into account and try to get a good balance of, the ballads and the rockers and the jams, and just kind of trying to make it into a coherent whole thing.
Wow, because you definitely give us all of that. It's really balanced, and now that you talk us through that process, it makes total sense. So when you say, I kind of like it, I like a deadline, I like an assignment, I like homework, you're speaking to the teacher in me. So I want to highlight something about your homework assignments here. On a previous episode, I played your song Club. And what I really like in your songs is the variety of wordplay. So it really seems like you relish the challenge of incorporating phrases that don't seem to be song ready, but you make them seem so naturally song ready. So like in Club, you use the phrase, "Therein lies the rub."
There's a feeling of calm, still I'm not letting go of your arm. You're not surprised
I said, okay, so wait, any guy that can weave, this phrase, which is Shakespearean, into a song and with a kick-ass jam and a chorus that, just rocks your socks off. I mean, hats off. But even the use of idioms, like in Squeaky Wheel, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Well, I told my wife the other day, couldn't stand the bread that she made. Well, she didn't look at me too kind. This morning my toast tasted fine. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. The screaming baby gets rocked to sleep. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. I told my boss the other day it was high time he gave me a raise. Oh, he didn't look at me too kind. My next paycheck he updated dime. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Oh, screaming baby gets rocked to sleep. The squeaky wheel. I told the judge the other day the fine he said was too steep to pay. He didn't look at me too kind. Now my wife brings me bread to cell block number 9. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Oh, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The screaming baby gets rocked to sleep.
You play a lot with words and phrases that you don't hear too often. And, you weave it all into this really good, compelling story. And, one of my favorite songs is Kindling. And there's this, two lyrics that I really like. And, I'm depending on something a little less stable than obscure.
Love it.
I've been depending on something that's a little less stable and obscure. And that faith keeps my head above the water. I've been riding that tidal wave right into the fire on the shore, till my faith broke into kindling. What can we fall back on? What is there around to give us hope? Someone better turn the heat up high. 'Cause the wood ain't even dry.
And when I heard that, I'm like, ooh, this is deep. But what I like is, I really like the imagery and the wordplay. And I have to ask, do you write things other than songs? Do you write stories? Or is
I have written
music?
stories, and I actually have been dabbling in writing, trying to get my writing chops back up. Story-wise, I used to write all the time when I was going to school. I loved it. I loved writing. My mom was a teacher, and she, always reading to me, and I was really always wanting to write a book or write something, screenplay, anything. And I've dabbled in that, but writing songs just seem more up my alley, because again, I like the concise, just really hammering out a short theme, and then end it and get out of there, and then move on, like I said before. So and you mentioned Squeaky Wheel. I actually, I love that song. That was a co-write with another ex-girlfriend of mine, and she wrote that Squeaky Wheel Against the Grease line. She had that laying around. She actually wrote poetry, and that was a poem she had just stuck in her drawer that I came across, and I put music on it. And she wrote the whole song, not just the chorus, I should say, all the lyrics. I think I stuck one line in there. But thank you for the compliment. Yeah, I like, and I keep like all songwriters do, keep a book lying around, and any cool phrase I hear, if somebody says something, I'll jot it down. I'll use that for a song later on, and then maybe twist it around a little bit, and I don't know, make it perfect for whatever song that it's earmarked for. And yeah, it's just and I did take some creative writing classes years ago, and I dabbled in poetry, but I don't know, poetry just was a little staid for me. It didn't quite, as I was writing poems, I was putting music to them, so they all ended up as songs.
Well, poetry is all depending on who's listening, and think about it. Dylan won a Nobel Prize for literature, for his music. So poetry is poetry, no matter if it's put to music or if it's lines in a book. So, but it's so evident to me, that it was something that I was super curious about, just because of how you phrase. I'm like, man, this guy's got to write other stuff too. So, but that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. Okay, I'm going to ask a pretty, universal question, but I'm really curious to hear your answer. What do you want listeners of your music to take away from sitting down and listening to your solo work?
What do I want the listener to take away?
Yeah.
I want them to, I hope to remember certain phrases of my songs, and for them to be catchy enough, and to really want to continue to play them over, like songs that when I was growing up and that I loved, that I would just play over and over again. I would hope somebody likes my material, that I played that. When I would hear somebody would say, I played that 3-4 times in a row, I love that song. That's the best thing to hear to me. Like, you just can't get enough, and you just in heavy rotation on their stereo, and that's what I would hope for. I guess all songwriters, all musicians would hope for that, but that's it. And to just remember my music.
Nice. I like that. Well, it sounds like you're describing Soraya and I right there. So, Mark, you mentioned that
too sweet.
you mentioned that it may be time to start thinking about recording a new record. So, what's up next for you? Any upcoming shows? Are we serious about starting to record some new songs for a new record? And where can people see you?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I have some new songs I really like, and want to get in to record, hopefully with, if not all of Rain Parade, most of the members to back me up, and because the band is just sounding pretty amazing right now, so I can't imagine having better musicians to play with on these songs that I have ready. I have about half a record ready, and I'm continuing to write, and like I said, I might dig out a few of the older songs that didn't make the cut on my previous records, but always more interested in writing new things and getting them out. And yeah, I'm hoping to at least start the recording process for a new record by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Excellent.
Don't have any shows coming up except for playing with Matt Pucci next month at a couple of clubs here in the Bay Area. And that's it as far as show-wise.
Okay.
For now. One of the things Jeff and I have learned about Rain Parade is sometimes you guys just bust it out on us. And who knows, Jeff, Mark may have a solo show, and then we're going to have to go back up to the Bay Area and check.
I haven't played a solo show in quite some time. I do prefer the whole band and really being part of, big wall, powerful sound. And Rain Parade right now they're also gearing up to record. They have several new songs we've been working on. So we'll keep you posted. Any shows coming up for sure, and if I play out.
Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely. And can you tell our listeners where they can find your music online or find you online? Like, do you have a online social media presence, or do you use a specific website to sell your music, or is it all download?
Definitely can find my music on CD Baby and iTunes also. Social media presence, I'm not really there anymore.
Okay.
Very, very sporadically I will check in, and but that's the best. Those are the best places to find my music. And Boatclub is also available on iTunes and CD Baby.
Okay.
Well, Mark, we did want to thank you for coming on the show. It was definitely an eye-opener for me when Matt recommended that we look into your solo material. When Soraya and I were first listening to these CDs, I just looked at her with my mouth dropped, and I could not believe how good these records are. And they seem like the kind of records that I will be listening to years and years down the road because they have a very timeless feel to them. It seems like something that I could have listened to in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Very timeless music. Thank you so much for making this music and for joining us on the show today. It was great to hear your answers to some of the questions that we've had after listening to this music.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff, Soraya. I appreciate it. It's great to talk to you.
Absolutely. And when there's new music, please promise that you'll come back on and share it with us and share it with our listeners.
Please.
Absolutely. I will do that.
Whew. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you
guys.
Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
You rock, man.
Yes, you do.
as do you too.
Thanks, Mark.
again. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh man, that was good. That was really good. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. I'm not joking. When I listen to those albums, those songs are amazing, and it's very dynamic, right? The CDs are very dynamic. It's not just one sound all the way through. It keeps me interested because of all of the different approaches he has. Not only musically, and lyrically too. And it really does have a timeless feel to me. So I'm going to be listening to these for a while.
One of the things that, and I'm so glad you brought it up, Mark as a composer, his musical vision, it really is unique because you start out the song, you're like, okay, I can already predict how this goes. And then he just changes it up. Like the song Like right now, I'm kind of obsessed with the song Where Dreams Are Laid.
Okay.
And then, so it starts off one way, and then there's this total break, and it's like a whole brand new song, and then he brings us out, and it's all very seamless. You know, the weaving in and out of different styles, different pacing. He slows it down, he speeds it up. All the while, there's this beautiful voice and the harmonies.
Yes.
And
Yes.
him and Matt Pucci singing together. Man,
Yeah.
it's really good to hear. Really quality music, and like you said, this is timeless. It seems to exist without any particular anchor to a time, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
I still like his self-made label Rockakana.
Yeah.
Because it can be really anything, but you definitely hear that Americana thread kind of woven throughout all his songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough, and I think Jeff and I are really on the same page here. You need to go find these CDs and give them a listen. Plainer is the one that was released first, and then a Mark Supreme.
Yeah, both on CD Baby, if you want hard
Yeah,
copies.
CD Baby, and he said iTunes as well. And if you haven't heeded our warning and gone to get Boatclub from our episode with Ronnie Barnett and talking about side projects, please go get it.
Yes.
You will not regret any of these decisions. Getting Mark Hanley's solo work, Plainer, and Mark Supreme, or Boatclub, or the Hellenes, or you know.
Yeah, right.
Jeff, but you as a musician, right?
Yes.
Did that not blow you away that this dude can play so many different instruments?
Yeah.
With strings and with keys?
Yeah, when I hear his guitar playing, it's both inspirational and I want to stop playing at the same time, which is always a good sign when listening to a guitar player. Like they're so good that you're inspired to pick up and play more. And then on the other hand, it's like, man, I'll never be that good. But yeah,
I'm just gonna light a fire to this brother.
Right.
Just be done.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not a musician, but I can hear and really appreciate how he plays and what he plays. And you know, for me, you know, you like to tease me a lot for just listening to the lyrics a little too deeply, but you know, it appeals to me as a listener and someone who appreciates just a well-worded song.
Yeah.
You know, he's great, and I have to admit, you know, I think we both kind of, you know, were suspicious of what Matt Pucci said. You know, he's the greatest songwriter no one's ever heard.
Yeah.
But you know, I have to admit, these are damn good songs.
Yep.
And really good music.
Yep, it wasn't just hyperbole.
And just in case, yes, Rain Parade is accompanying Tim Lee in his project Bark, and then Rain Parade and Friends, as Matt Pucci said, will be sharing the bill or in support September 27th and September 28th. The 27th, I think that's a show in Oakland. The 28th is in San Francisco.
Yes.
And we'll post a link to that. But if you live in the Bay Area, can get to the Bay Area, it'd be a great place to go see Rain Parade, see this killer lineup, and also appreciate Mark Hanley in the flesh.
Yep, and if you don't live in the Bay Area, some of the airlines have sales going on. So there's always that.
Yes, you can get there. You can get to Oakland and or San Francisco.
Yes.
Jeff, this was a lot of fun.
It was. I liked this one.
All right, gente, agruviar.
Groove on, Paisley people.
not stop when you said, shall I take you home? She's so tough. Look up the big mom. She's in overdrive. She's a beehive. She can't tell me I'm enough. Amplify love. Amplify love. Nice tone. Perfect cone.